The night was heavy with silence, the kind of silence that creeps into your bones and makes you feel like the world is holding its breath. The parking lot outside St. Anne's Hospital stretched out under dim yellow lamps, their light flickering against the asphalt, casting long, uneasy shadows. It was 11:47 p.m., and most of the city slept while Emily Carter walked out the sliding glass doors, her body aching from the 12-hour shift that had demanded everything she had. Her scrubs smelled faintly of antiseptic and exhaustion, her hair tucked into a loose bun, strands falling into her tired eyes. She was a nurse, not because it was easy, not because it was glamorous, but because healing people was the only thing that made her feel alive. But tonight wasn't about healing. Tonight, life had something else in store for her, something raw, brutal, and life-changing. As she crossed the lot toward her old car, she saw them, 3 figures leaning against a beat-up black car at the far end. Their laughter was sharp, mocking, echoing against the quiet. She recognized them instantly, not as patients but as trouble. The tallest one, Tyler, had swagger carved into his bones, a smirk plastered across his face like he owned the world. Mason, stockier, chewed on a toothpick, his restless eyes scanning for weakness, while Kyle, the youngest, shifted nervously, like he didn't want to be there but lacked the courage to leave. Emily lowered her gaze, clutched her bag, and quickened her pace. She had dealt with men like them before, loud, reckless, convinced the world owed them something. But tonight, she didn't have the energy. She wanted only to go home, take a hot shower, and collapse into bed. She had seen too much blood, too much pain, too much grief in one day. "Hey, nurse," Tyler's voice cut through the night like a blade. She ignored it, her shoes clicking against the asphalt. "I'm talking to you." Her steps didn't falter, but her pulse quickened. "You think you're too good to answer?" Mason called out, his voice dripping with mockery. The sound of footsteps followed. They were moving toward her. Emily's grip on her bag tightened. She told herself to keep walking, to get to her car, to lock the doors. But the sharp slam of footsteps behind her told her she wouldn't get that far. "Stop right there," Tyler barked, his voice full of command. Against every instinct, Emily paused. Slowly, she turned, her heart hammering inside her chest. 3 pairs of eyes stared her down under the flickering lamp. "What do you want?" Her voice was calm, controlled, though fear pressed hard against her ribs. Tyler smirked. "Relax, sweetheart. We just wanna talk. That's all," Mason echoed, grinning wide. Emily swallowed hard. "It's late. I've worked all day. Let me go home." But Tyler stepped closer, his shoes crunching against gravel. "See, that's the problem. You walk around here like you're better than everyone. Saving lives, huh? Acting like you're some kind of hero. But what happens when there's no hospital? What happens when you're out here, all alone?" The words were like poison, and Emily realized then that this wasn't about her. It was about power. About control. And they were going to take it from her if she let them. She turned sharply, heading back toward her car, but Mason lunged forward, shoving her shoulder hard. She stumbled, her bag slipping from her hand, scattering across the asphalt. "Hey!" she snapped, anger flaring through the fear. The 3 of them laughed, their voices harsh, echoing like cruel music in the night. Emily bent quickly, reaching for her bag, but Kyle's foot came down on it, pinning it to the ground. His eyes darted nervously between her and the others, but he didn't move. "Give it back," she demanded. Tyler stepped closer until his shadow swallowed her. Or what? For a moment, the world seemed to shrink around her, the empty parking lot, the buzzing lamp above, the 3 faces smirking down at her. Emily was tired. Emily was small. Emily was alone. And for a terrifying second, she thought maybe this was how it ended. Then it happened. Tyler shoved her, harder than Mason had, and she fell. The ground rushed up to meet her, the impact stealing her breath. Pain shot through her wrist as she caught herself, her elbow scraping against the rough asphalt. She lay there, stunned, their laughter rolling over her like thunder. It would have been easy to stay down. To close her eyes. To let the humiliation sink her deeper than the pain. But something inside her stirred. A memory. A face. Her mother, years ago, when Emily was a child, standing over her after she had been knocked down by bullies on the playground. Her mother's voice had been firm, unyielding. "Emily, listen to me. The world will try to push you down. People will laugh. But you," she had tapped Emily's small chest, "you don't stay down. You get up. Always. No matter how hard, no matter how much it hurts. You get up. Emily blinked back tears, her body trembling. Slowly, painfully, she pushed herself off the ground. Her palms stung, blood smeared across her skin, but her spine straightened. She looked at them, not with fear now, but with something sharper, something they hadn't expected. Tyler's grin faltered. Oh, she's got fight in her. Emily's eyes scanned the lot. Her bag lay under Kyle's foot. Her car was too far. And then she saw it, an old wooden chair leaning against the hospital wall, broken, abandoned, its leg cracked and half detached. Without thinking, Emily staggered toward it, her steps uneven but determined. She grabbed the loose chair leg, the wood rough in her hands, splinters digging into her palms. The bullies burst out laughing. What, you think you're gonna fight us with that? Mason jeered. Emily lifted the chair leg, her eyes locking with Tyler's. Her voice came out steady, stronger than she felt inside. Try me. For a moment, silence. Even the flickering lamp seemed to pause. The woman they had mocked, shoved, and knocked down now stood before them, bloodied, trembling, but unbroken, gripping a splintered chair leg like a warrior's blade. Tyler sneered, but Emily saw the flicker of hesitation in his eyes. You don't scare me, she whispered, more to herself than to them. And in that whisper lived years of sacrifice, of sleepless nights, of holding strangers' hands as they clung to life. She was more than a nurse. She was strength. She was fire. The night had shifted. The power was no longer theirs alone. The wooden chair leg felt heavy in Emily's hands, but not because of its weight, because of what it represented. Broken, jagged, discarded. Much like how those three bullies saw her. But she wasn't discarded. She wasn't broken. And tonight, she wasn't going to be their victim. Tyler smirked, stepping forward, but the flicker of doubt in his eyes betrayed him. He had seen plenty of people cower. He had never seen someone stand up again after being shoved to the ground, blood on their face, fire in their stare. Mason shifted beside him, rolling his shoulders like he was itching for a fight. Kyle hung back, his foot still on Emily's bag, his eyes darting between the others, guilt gnawing at his expression. Emily raised the chair leg, her hands steady despite the tremble running through her muscles. You're going to walk away, she said, her voice low but firm, every word dipped in steel. Tyler chuckled, but it wasn't the confident laugh from before. Or what, nurse? You're gonna stitch me up after you smack me. Emily didn't flinch. Or I'll make sure you don't walk away at all. The silence that followed stretched long, heavy, and electric. The parking lot no longer belonged to them. It was hers. Tyler lunged, testing her, but Emily swung the chair leg with a force born from sleepless nights, from every wound she'd patched, from every patient she had carried when the world told them to give up. The wood connected with his arm, the crack echoing through the lot. Tyler stumbled back, a curse tearing from his lips. Mason swore and rushed her, but Emily stepped sideways, the adrenaline sharpening her instincts. She jabbed the jagged end forward, grazing his jacket, forcing him back. Her chest heaved, her body screaming in protest, but her spirit was roaring louder than her pain. Kyle froze, his foot finally lifting off her bag. He muttered, "This isn't right, man. Shut up." Tyler snapped, cradling his arm, fury burning in his eyes. But Emily saw it, the cracks forming in their armor. For bullies, fear was currency, and she wasn't paying anymore. Her voice cut through the night, strong and unyielding. You think strength is in hurting people. Real strength is standing back up when the world knocks you down. Real strength is refusing to stay broken. The words weren't just for them. They were for herself. For every time she'd swallowed her pain, for every night she'd cried alone after losing a patient, for every bruise the world had given her spirit. Tonight she wasn't just surviving, she was rising. Tyler growled, but he didn't step closer. Mason hesitated. Kyle's gaze dropped, shame written across his young face. Emily lowered the chair leg slightly, but her stance never softened. You can leave now, or you can test me again. But I promise you, this time, I won't miss. The tension snapped like a rubber band stretched too far. Tyler spat on the ground, glaring at her with venom but unwilling to take another step. This isn't over, he muttered, backing toward the car. Mason followed, still scowling, but his bravado had wilted. Kyle lingered for a moment, his lips parting as if to apologize, before shame pulled him into the shadows with the others. The roar of their car engine broke the silence as they sped away, their laughter gone, replaced by the hollow echo of defeat. And then there was quiet again.